Welcome to Two Ole Farts. I've seen a lot of conjecture about the future of the First Descendant. A lot of people complaining about the content being slow and some concern about a dwindling player base and concern over whether the game has a future or not. Personally, my view is that any game you play. I mean, I've been a hardcore Destiny fan for years. That game cycles up and down with player count based on content changes and seasonal activities and what's going on in the world at the time, whether it's the holidays or whatever's going on. But it's not abnormal for us to see dips and rises in the player base. But what I'm seeing in the game right now is that there's plenty of people in the game playing. Plenty of people, giving us their time. Working on grinding out characters. Now working on getting their reactors set up for multiple weapons. I mean, there's still a lot going on, and I never load into activities and feel like there's no player base. There's no long delays or long lines to get into any activities. So I feel like there's a lot still happening there. But the other thing that is important to talk about here is the engagement of the developer. And so I have not honestly seen a game developer behave the way this developer has behaved from the beginning. Their engagement has been continuous. They have been listening to us. They have been reacting to our requests, even for simple things like cosmetic changes of an outfit that someone purchased. To me, this is an incredible step forward from the gaming industry and signals a change that we should be seeing from other developers, and maybe this is why some of the other developers are struggling at the moment. But yesterday actually, or earlier today for some of you, the devs put out a letter, and I'm just gonna go through the dev notes that they put out. Give me just a second to load that screen. Switch over to it now. So what the dev notes are talking about. Actually, I'm gonna just check with NJ. NJ, can you see the dev notes up on the Twitch feed now? Perfect. Okay. So this is it. So basically, what the devs were doing is they were responding to our feedback. They're in this response here. They're talking about questions or complaints that have been made, and how they plan to solve them, or how they have already in some cases solved them. So they're saying, look, we're not giving enough feedback. We don't feel like we're engaging with you enough. I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like they are engaging through action, at least. Certainly, they don't have the live streams like you would see with the Warframe group or with Bungie doing live streams, but at the same time, I don't see Bungie making the number of changes at the request of the customers that I'm seeing from Nexon. So I think this is an incredible effort on their part. They're sharing their responses through this announcement because it's a large breadth of them, and they're actually changing the way they accept feedback and trying to get us to a situation where we can have more interactive discussions with them. Even though it's in an asynchronous format. We'll talk about that at the end. But so I've read through these already. It's very extraordinary. Let's just kind of take them as quickly as we can, one by one, just to talk about what is the future. What is going on here. The first one was create more content aligned with the hack and slash and run and gun styles, more monster, faster pace, reduced travel distances, etc. Obviously, we've seen this with the 400% dungeons. Certainly, there's a lot more activity there. People would like to see more of that. More just really fast-paced action. Developers working to align new content with that. Specifically, they've taken the feedback regarding the invasion content not fitting this approach and working to better match these gameplay styles. I think when they're talking about the invasions, that they're talking about the lower level invasions, and they're talking about the disrupt invasions. Because it's kind of slow and gated. But I don't see that being a problem. I think that's a particular niche environment that we're activating in or working in. There are big rewards for that. We were talking about this yesterday. NJ makes sure that he jumps on every day at least to do those 4 disrupt invasions, because you're getting $1 million gold for doing those activities. So that's 4 million right out of the bat, or more, almost 5, where you're just you're done. You got a real big head start. Of course, he's taking all that money and spending it on getting his reactors reset to hold all the different weapons. But hey, whatever he wants to spend his money on. The next one was improve the invasion content. It doesn't fit the looter shooter genre and isn't hidden, and its hidden mechanics are stressful. I'm not sure what that's about here. They're currently focusing our development efforts on new content that aligns with hack and slash and run and gun. So we don't have specific plans to revamp invasions at this time. However, we are expanding our team. We are expanding our team, and we'll continue to work on improving underutilized or less popular content alongside the development of new content. I don't think it's important, or I don't think it's prudent for us to change the variations of content. We don't want everything to feel the same way. I mean, what do you think, NJ? I mean, you want to have it all feel exactly the same? I think this is a challenge. No, NJ. Okay. So, I mean, I think the answer for me is I want varied content. I want varied descendants, and later on there's even some requests from the community. So I think it's important to keep that variation in there. I think more boss patterns, improved invincibility patterns, or other hidden mechanics, etc. Right? And so the response to that is, so far we've been implementing patches to replace some boss patterns and with new ones, and new bosses will be added to the new content in season 2. We're preparing to introduce new monster types in the field. So in all activities there'll be new monster types in season 3. So we're getting some kind of a new enemy invader. That's kind of exciting. We'll be working to diversify boss patterns while ensuring that they align with the hack and slash and run and gun styles. So that's pretty exciting stuff. So they're listening again. Farming missions feel too long and tedious. We'd like adjustments to the mission duration and pacing. So what's a farming mission? It's a good question for me, I think. But they said we've learned from feedback that players enjoy missions with constant monster spawns and freedom to roam while fighting. As a result, we've changed the missions in the hard infiltration operations to extermination missions. We aim to create content with a dense combat experience rather than just a fast-paced progression, thus allow for hack and slash and run and gun type play. We will also be improving the existing field missions to make repeated farming more enjoyable. So they're, maybe what they'll do is something similar to what Bungie did, where every time you load into a mission, it's got a little bit of a different feel, a different mix of enemies. We'll have to see what they do. Improved grappling hooks. This is another request. Cooldown reduction or out of combat cooldown reduction, etc. And this is interesting, right? Because you wouldn't expect them to say this, but we believe the purpose of the grappling hook improvement is to enhance character mobility. All characters should be able to move with Bunny. I know NJ agrees with this. For better co-op experience, currently Bunny often arrives first and ends the event before others can catch up. To address this, we are considering improving the grappling hook or including new default mobility skills or mobility items in the medium to long term. We're working to improve co-op play so that others can run and fight together. So that's pretty cool. I hate when the bunny just takes off and leaves us all and we're stuck, or even pulls us forward, which we left all that loot on the ground. But Jim, you like the bunnies running off and leaving us, don't you?
A little bit.
He's the one complaining all the time. All right, so remove guided missile patterns from reducing the hit rate of common monsters. This was already fixed in 1.1.6. They patched the guided missiles, making so they don't target quite as aggressively and giving us a little bit of time to be able to dodge them. Add the invincibility effect while rolling. I'm not sure this is a good idea, to be honest with you. We currently have no plans for this. Since guided missiles can now be dodged, we believe that invincibility while rolling is less necessary. Rolling is designed to be a quick movement in the direction or allowing players to roll and evade enemy skills, allowing us to move quickly, in the case of Sharon when doing infiltrations. I don't think making us invulnerable at that point is important. I mean, you wouldn't be invulnerable if somebody threw a broad spectrum, something at you, you get hit. So I think it's keeping it realistic. That's important. Increased HP and MP recovery outside of combat. Currently, there's ample means to do this. HP and MP during combat and builds are optimized accordingly. We will review whether the future improvements are needed and provide updates in future dev notes. What I'd say to that is, anyone's asking for that, you can really grind out the gear set that you're running to make sure that it has those traits if you're really interested. and having that recovery, you got to look for it. You got to look for it. You got to grind for it. So I think that's the answer. Make it easier to get ammo supplies, especially for special rounds. We're exploring ways to increase the utilization of special rounds, and will implement improvements as soon as possible. So they're listening. Improve equipment swapping during combat. This is because we're locked down from being able to swap equipment, and there is some technical changes associated with the suggestion, but they are trying to do it to prevent equipment or mod swapping from becoming a part of a build. They've locked it down, but they do see the need that sometimes people load into an activity. I did it this morning with the wrong build or wrong setup, and then need to make adjustments, and would either have to leave or just suffer through the mission with the setup that they have. So certainly this is not what they plan on. So they do plan to allow for module changes on restarts after mission completions, but not during the combat. So maybe during that load-in screen, if you stayed in that area, you'd still be able to swap your stuff. That's pretty cool, because I have been plagued with that. That's my, my old timer crap happening to me. I forget to do it. Have a senior moment. Number 7, remove collisions between player members for smoother movement. The game was designed with collisions between characters, skills, summons, and objects. So there are many aspects to review. While we have reviewed this in the past and did not proceed with any changes at the time, we do plan to revisit it. So I think it is a problem for me, but it's very situational. I mean, if I'm bumping into someone, in some cases it makes sense, but when I'm trying to travel and keep up with Bunny, and I keep running into, grappling into someone, and it stops the grapple and resets things, that's kind of irritating. Improve terrain features that interfere with running gun gameplay in the field. I haven't really seen this, but we're continuous refining the level design to enhance its quality. Terrain adjustments are included in every update, but due to the abundance of objects, some unaddressed terrain elements still remain. We'll continue to work on this long-term level design improvements to ensure a smoother gameplay experience. Cool. So they're listening. Allow shooting while running instead of walking when moving backwards for a better sense of speed. I'm not sure that's about necessarily. We believe slowing down when moving backwards is appropriate for maintaining natural movement. Of course, we want realism. Moving quickly while retreating can make it harder to see, which may lead to discomfort. We plan to keep it as it is, but we'll reconsider this as it's a significant player request. So that's interesting. Early growth. The early story difficulty is too high, making progression challenging, so reduction in difficulty is needed. They did this in the 1.1.6 update. I don't know if you noticed, they lowered the difficulty of the monster levels and normal missions. They're also adjusting the difficulty and rewards of story sections to help new players adapt more easily. We will continue to analyze and improve the difficulty and progression support in early game. So this is exciting. We just had one of our followers and one of our clanmates go through the campaign for the first time, and I think he had a lot rougher experience before the update than after. So there's definitely been some progression. He finished the campaign solo, so certainly there were times before that where he was needing help. So definitely has helped out. Content requiring initial learning should be more detailed and mandatory, e.g. module enhancement. Offer rewards to alleviate the stress from such a mandatory task. Provide a support package to help with new player growth. This is interesting. So they're asking for supplies to be added to the game in that last part. But I think there definitely does need to be some strategies here. It says we're planning several support strategies in Season 2. We plan to reward players with enhanced modules as they progress through the story. We'll also reduce the farming difficulty for Enzo and Glay to allow players, to have more descendants in their early stages and help them with reach a hard difficulty. Additionally, we'll introduce better guides, help features, and clear difficulty indicators to support players in setting into the game early. So this is cool. Again, listening and paying attention to what we need. UI and feature changes. Add a feature to disable party member effects. This is talking about someone else's using their skills or using their abilities or shooting like they had with the Glay grenade launchers for a while. So we understand that visibility can be an issue with multiple effects occurring simultaneously, and there can be an optimization issue depending on the device, i.e. you get some frame rate drop. To address this, we agree that there is a need for a step-by-step feature to toggle effects on and off. However, simply toggling effects based on party members and onset and oneself makes it difficult to identify buffs and party members. So we believe grouping effects for an on-off control is in stages is necessary. I'd agree with that. Although it's not on the roadmap yet, we will begin discussing immediately due to ongoing optimization issues on some devices after the 400% dungeon update. We'll provide further details through the dev notes once the plans are solidified. So, crashing, particularly I think the PS4s are suffering with the 400% content. So being able to toggle this off or modify this for that activity would be helpful. Improve the applied buff UI, as the buffs are small and green, making them hard to distinguish. They're looking at better ways to identify the buffs and plan to make improvements on this as soon as possible. They've already kind of moved things around, so hopefully they continue to do that and take care of it. Request for balancing, better descendant and weapon balance. So far we focused on reworking specific descendants and weapons in each patch. For Season 2, we are planning on overall rebalance to allow players to choose from a broader range of weapons and descendants. I think this is good, I think we still don't feel 100%, or I don't feel like investing in Jaber or Ezimo or even Blair 100%, although I am going to start working on a Blair build. I think they put a lot of buffs in. We'll see how it goes, but I still feel like, it's hard to top Freyna or Bunny or I like Luna. Certainly, the S tier characters are set. We know who they are. Enzo being one of them, right? The lower reward drop rates feel more difficult than they should. Please improve farming difficulty. So to address drop rate concerns in Season 2, which is coming up in December, we're introducing the target reward system. While certain items have a 20% drop rate, some players might obtain the item on their first try, while others may not get it until after 10 attempts. Our analysis of server-wide lag show that the overall drop rates aligned with the intended 20%. And that's what I see too. I mean, I've got over 1,000 hours in this game, and I can tell you that the drop rates they seem realistic. I know Nexon has been accused of manipulating that in the past, but this is not the case, guys. We're seeing normal drop rates here in terms of what the percentages say. The target reward system aims to address this by allowing players to select a mission and earn guaranteed rewards after a set number of attempts. Additionally, we plan to offer enhanced shape stabilizers as limited time event rewards, which increase the chances of obtaining rare items when opening amorphous materials. We are committed to providing a balanced farming experience that feels fair to all players. Again, I think what they've done is fair. It's like every other game in the world. You're rolling the dice. If you keep rolling sevens, that's no one's fault, But the fact that they're willing to address it is, again, just a testament to Nexon and their continuous development and their continuous effort to try and keep the customers, on side. Content, story. Well, this is the one, right? This is the one we're talking about. We're talking about a game that's dying. Is it dying? We'll talk some more about it after we finish this. The overall storyline feels short or incomplete. I don't think it's short. I think that's for a startup game that's free to play. I don't think it's short. And there's a desire for more expansion on the backside of key characters, backstories of the key characters. We've been working on that. We've been seeing that. The story seems to progress to a certain point, and then it feels like it stalls out. So there's a desire for the main story to continue consistently. I agree. We plan to expand the main story with each season, and we're increasing our team size to deliver more content, more story content. So that's exciting. They're hiring. Need a job. If you're a developer, seek them out. Our goal is to provide a richer storytelling experience, not only for the main plot, but also for the stories of the descendants. And that's the cool thing, right? I mean, we want to know more about these guys we're playing with all the time. I really enjoy that. There is a really good video. I'll have to find it and tag it in, that somebody put out that talks about all the different descendants and their backstories. I really enjoyed watching that. I don't know where that information came from, but it was very useful. We'd like to see deeper stories explaining why characters are in their current situations, backstories, and motivations of popular characters. Obviously, they did this in the last season. In Season 3, we'll be focusing on Glay's story, although that ought to be really interesting. With the main plot, we've noticed that many players resonate more with the personal drama of the descendants than the overarching storyline. So we plan to ensure the main story also captures the descendants' narratives. Very cool. Some players want a system where the story changes based on their choices, leading to different outcomes. I'd say, dump the game and go play, go play one of these Dark Souls games. That's not what this is about. you know, go play Dragon Age. Yeah, you're in the wrong game genre, guys. Go find yourself an RPG. This is not what this is about, and the developers are saying that we don't believe offering choices and multiple endings aligns with the direction of the First Descendant. As developers, we respect games and great multiple endings, and would love to attempt it ourselves. But we think it's crucial for First Descendant to focus on what makes it unique. And keep in mind, guys, if you have everybody going off in different directions, different storylines, you can't play together. Okay, so you're asking to break down the group of players into smaller groups. That's not good, particularly when there are slumps in activity. Terrible choice. But I understand why you're asking it. Certainly, there are great games that do this. Go play one of those. We'd like to see the new characters and abilities added as the current roster lacks diversity. Well, I see that, but I also see pretty good sized YouTube presence complaining about some of the diversity that does exist. I mean, I was showcasing Luna. I'll be showcasing a new build for Luna later this week, and Luna is a great example of diversity in the player base. But a lot of people are kind of put off by her playstyle. Fine, but I mean, you're asking for diversity. There it is, and then you complain about it. You've got to be willing to accept that you might not like the diversity, but you still have to know that the diversity is there and it does offer something. But they are exploring ways to introduce more new characters, and as a result, they'll be introducing 2 new descendants, 1 male, 1 female in Season 2, which is what we expect. And then a new Ultimate Descendant will also be added. We'll continue our efforts to bring more diverse and innovative descendants. So, again, commitment. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I'm just worried that aim of the game, the quality of the game, and eventually the game.
Well, I like what they're saying though. In a lot of places, they're saying, yeah, we see that. We'll work on that. Or and in other cases, they're saying no, we're not going to do that. And I think as long as they continue to answer the question and say we're not going to do that, that's not who we are. That's at least they're answering, right? And to me, they're addressing the things they need to address and ignoring the things that they. And a good example of that is multiple endings. What would that? How would that help us? It won't help us as a group. And let's face it, most of us who really enjoy this game aren't playing it solo. I don't believe. I think we're playing it, whether we're playing it in groups as randoms or whether we're playing it in groups as groups, we're enjoying that group activity. And I know in Nexon's backyard where their larger player base at least started, they're playing in internet cafes and they're grouping up and doing it, and so they want that group interaction. And if you're telling them to go away from that, you're telling them to ignore who they are, and that's not healthy, guys. That's not a healthy way to. That's just insulting, Adding more, the same vein of thinking, adding characters that enable more diverse combat styles, especially characters specializing in ranged attacks, support abilities, and co-op play. We hope to see more unique characters with complex skill mechanics and specialized combat styles. We're working on adding more characters with diverse abilities to offer broader gameplay experience. However, we believe that this also requires more varied content. Listen carefully to their response here. This is really good. However, we believe that this also requires more varied content. Currently, the content is divided into 2 main types: intercept battles, which involve defeating large bosses, and exterminations, which focus on defeating mini monsters. As a result, characters optimized for these 2 content types are highlighted. We think it's necessary to diversify the types of content to allow for a wider range of character choices, and at the same time, we're carefully testing new content to avoid creating an environment where new characters feel required as choices for this content. As soon as the new content is ready, we'll seek player feedback through focus group testing, and dev notes. So look, I think this is a great answer. They're saying, yeah, okay, if we want that kind of diversity, we have to create content that's going to drive that diversity. However, you don't want to do what you did with Valby and say that Valby's the only one that can beat Gluttony, because you need a Valby there to keep Gluttony cooled down so everybody else can do their job and defeat everyone. This kind of forces us into having a Gluttony on site. I'm sorry, a Gluttony, having a Valby on site. We don't really want to work it that way. So I think it's a good point. And there's more diversity than we're seeing players utilize in the game. Let's talk about Eugen. I don't see that many players on Eugen these days. Eugen brings something unique. I mentioned Luna earlier. She brings something unique. We have characters out there that are unique. So let's keep that in mind. Combat, player suggestion 1. Current dungeons are repetitive and lack new challenges and enemy types. We need dungeons that are more challenging and require strategic thinking, as there is currently a lack of content to challenge core players. Okay, fair enough. The dungeons in Season 2 will feature new types of monsters. Great. We also recognize the need for more challenging in-game content, so we're preparing a range of in-game experiences for Season 2. This includes adding higher difficulty special operations and intercept battles. Very exciting. I think that's going to be fun. As well as content that gradually increases in difficulty to challenge the toughest stages. We are hoping to continue to expand the range of in-game experiences. And they've committed already in the earlier notes to adding more content, so pretty exciting. We need large monsters. Currently, they're only small, normal, and medium monsters. We'd like to see vulgus mobs and weak points that can be targeted. I think, and they talk about this here, but I think this is also a physical challenge of the environment that we're in. You can't have a large monster in a room that's small, so you'd have to change the battlefield some to make that work. We'll take the idea of large vulgus mobs that have weak points into consideration and discuss them with the relevant departments. We recognize the participation of a lack of large monsters in missions and dungeons, and are also mindful of the level design constraints. They're talking about physical constraints of the battlefield. To address this, we plan to create new fields that provide field combat experience with a mix of large monsters. Yeah, you have to think about the structure of some of the environments that we fight them in. The boss's attack patterns and common style are somewhat monotonous. We hope to see void intercept battles with more complex patterns. Their answer is, we're striving to balance adding complexity to the patterns and to increase difficulty while ensuring they remain intuitive for players. We believe the Deathstalker update aligned well with this goal. Moving forward, we'll continue to update intercept battles by adding new patterns, ensuring that they are both intuitive and strategically fair. I think that's good. I think, taking a note from some of the other game developers out there to require, interaction with other players, maybe, some type of plate mechanics or something that so people have to actually, work together to achieve something, that'd be good too. We'd like to see stronger emphasis on the importance of co-op play in dungeons. We understand that there's a mixed feelings about the emphasis of co-op play. Dungeons in the First Descendant are designed to be played solo, with the option for smoother and faster game progress in the group. We intend to maintain this approach while enhancing co-op synergy, which we believe should be supported by player abilities and content difficulty rather than currently the lower difficulty of content may make the need for co-op less apparent. But as we introduce more challenging in-game content, we anticipate that the demand for co-op play will grow naturally. Cool. Improve the structure of Amorphous outpost farming methods. This is basically talking about the Sharon post. We agree that the farming and opening methods of the amorphous materials and outpost fragments and fusion reactors needs improvement. Our team has been exploring a variety of ways to enhance outposts, such as implementing a system where players are rewarded after a minute of continuous combat. They've talked about this before. However, we're approaching this carefully, as it may put Sharon players who have monster killing power as a disadvantage. We recognize that the current outpost route is less engaging compared to infiltration routes, and we are firmly committed to making improvements. We will thoroughly review all options and ensure that positive changes for everyone and actively consider the ideas players share with us. I'm a little torn on this one. I like the fact that Sharon has a purpose in the game, and I think they have to be careful not to delete that purpose. I think that would diminish the game's initial package. But you know, I'm one person. Um, Remove unreasonable penalties for content, weapons, modules, inversions, etc. I think this is talking about just you know, being nerfed when you go into an activity to make it more difficult. We've received considerable feedback regarding penalties on invasion, aversion, reinforcements in similar areas. Currently, we're not considering penalties when designing a new content. Instead, we aim to provide attribute bonuses to encourage a wider variety of character use. Moving forward, we plan to balance content to avoid imposing penalties, so they're going to make things harder to fight. We'll also review the penalties of ultimate weapons to make them usable without penalties, even at base levels, ensuring a more enjoyable experience. We plan to retain the positive and negative effects for modules, as it offers an option to maximize positive effects when configuring characters or builds. Where certain stats aren't needed alongside the positive and negative effects, we'll also introduce positive and negative, positive effect modules, providing players with even more customization options. I think they've been doing really good at adding additional modules into the game and keeping us on our toes about watching out for our builds. So I don't see that being a big issue. Please consider accessibility options. This is really important for visually and hearing impaired players when developing content. Based on the Descendant feedback, we've enhanced encrypted vault navigation by adding visual effects, and though we recognize the accessibility options are still lacking. Moving forward, we're committed to gradually introducing more accessibility features to make the First Descendant enjoyable for a wider range of players. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. I mean, they're paying attention, and as a hearing impaired person, I can definitely say that this is important. You know, I don't always pick up on things, so from an auditory point of view. The events that have been held or are currently ongoing aren't very engaging, and the rewards aren't sufficient to encourage engagement. The events that are being held, okay, whatever, guy. Currently, events are repetitive. We'd like to see more creative and new events, such as seasonal special events. Okay, we're running web events to offer a wider variety of events experiences to plan and enhance accessibility by complementing them with in-game features. We aim to provide various in-game events, such as attendance checks and an event store, so players can enjoy more activities within the game itself. During periods without major updates, we'll continue to support the gameplay through events, establishing them as a key content feature. So I think I don't find the events. I mean, the events encourage you. Current events encourage you to come in the game, play. You know, it is a bit repetitive what they ask you to do, but hey, you know, it still gets it done. We'd like to see special rewards like character skins. We're always carefully considering event structures and rewards. As previously mentioned, we're planning to introduce new event features, and along with that, growing items, materials, and currency rewards. We're exploring other options, including character skins, to enhance motivation and satisfaction. Ideally, these skins will align with the seasonal theme, and we're looking into ways for players to earn them simply through event participation and gameplay, spending money, which is pretty cool. I'm about 2/3 through, guys. I know this is a long one, man, but I'm just highlighting the fact that these guys are vicious in their focus, and they are really trying to improve this game and answer our questions. You know. The next group is on equipment, firearms to start off with. There's a lack of incentive to obtain ultimate weapons, and they currently lack uniqueness. We'd like to see more polished and unique ultimate weapons. We would like new firearms to diversify options, and a rework to make the existing firearms feel more distinctive. And they've been doing that slowly, you know. We plan to rebalance ultimate weapons in Season 2 to give players a broader choice based on their preference. Additionally, we'll continue to add ultimate weapons with interesting stats and effects to make them more worthwhile to collect. So I mean, I see them doing that. I do agree there's a lack of guns overall in the game, and we need some more unique ones. But I think they're gonna keep addressing that. We would like to support the zoom in, zoom out feature with firearms. So this is talking about basically being able to scope in. We've discussed introducing weapons with ADS, aim down sight systems, to enhance the firearms experience, since the First Descendant is optimized for fast-paced running gun combat with less need for precise shooting mechanics. The idea is currently on hold, as it would be, right? You're not sitting still waiting for somebody to come around the corner, and you're not playing against other players. We believe it's more important to focus on creating engaging firearm effects and iconic dream weapons rather than precision controls, so we've lowered the priority of this in our agenda. I support that. I don't think that's a big ask at the moment. Reactors. We'd like to add a feature to adjust the type and number of secondary options in the reactors. Yeah, I see that. Currently, we don't support readjustment since reactors only have 2 options, but we've received a lot of feedback about this, so we're considering increasing the reactor options to 4 or raising the cost of readjustments, with further details to be shared in a further dev note. Oh, that sounds like they've done something, guys. That sounds like we've got something coming. So that's exciting. We'd like to add crafting of rare reactors for better build variety. Crafting of rare reactors for better build. The reactor implant system in 1.1.6 update has made weapon optimization easier, and we've noticed the feedback about the consumable material and cost for the implant. Yeah, it is too expensive. We'll review that data and, if needed, increase ways to earn more materials. What's gold? Or yeah, it's just the gold, I think. Our direction for reactor improvements includes optimizing the rotation system to simplify farming for ultimate reactors and create an environment for more interesting builds by introducing new reactor tiers in the future. I think the biggest thing they could work on here, if they listen to this, or somebody can send them some notes on this, is the fact that we have those dead times where you just can't find the reactor you're looking for. You're there. There's weeks where you're time gated out of being able to hunt for the reactor you need. Avoiding that would be good. I think it's hard enough that when it does appear sometimes in the rotation, it's not in the best location. But forget that. If we could just find a way to make sure that we've always got them in rotation somehow, even if that means some things are doubled. And I think that's already started to happen. It looks like to me. Because I was hunting a reactor the other day, and I was getting both chill reactors and toxic reactors dropping in the same place. So maybe they've already done this, and if they have, someone can tell me in the comments. Add more ways to obtain modules, e.g. shot focus and Enzo exclusive modules. Drop source for modules was already updated in 1.1.6. If you didn't follow that or see the update that I put out, they've already touched on this. There's one thing going on there I don't really understand, so I'm going to have to do some research on it. But essentially, all the modules now have multiple ways to obtain them. Even the ones that were locked behind combining are no longer locked behind combining. Increase the performance of dedicated transcendent modules. This is good. We need to buff a few of the ones we don't use. They're going to review the performance of underutilized transcendent models and adjust them to allow for more variety in their usage. Great. So that's what we need. Add a feature to delete modules from the inventory. Currently, it has been improved in 1.1.6 update, so transcendent module drops are sent to the lost and found. I noticed this today. Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you, Nexon. This is a really big deal. Because it was so disturbing to see those things laying on the ground and not be able to get them. Do make sure if you see them that you run over them and kind of let your character try and pick them up, because that's what will send them to. If you ignore them, it may not come to your postmaster, but they will no longer be just lost forever. As long as you have room in your mailbox, they'll come there. If you already have, if you already have 1,500 modules, after the patch, we will further assess and see if the inventory delete function is still necessary. So they are looking at it, but they're saying that we really need it. Add an auto combine feature for modules. We understand the need for this feature and are currently preparing improvements we plan to include in a hotfix as soon as possible. Holy cow! So we're going to be able to just click auto combine. Now I wonder if it will give you what you're looking for when you do that. I guess because normally, when you're combining, you need to combine the right modules to come up with the right, what it is you're looking for. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. Add functions to the search function for modules in inventory, initial search, space ignoring, option search, etc. Add a dismantling feature, filter feature with an and condition. We believe the more quality of life improvements like these, the better. Our team is dedicated to collecting and organizing player feedback and making continuous improvements. So they're still working on making the filters better. That's great. getting there. We're almost done. Customization. Currently, customization options for characters are limited. We like to see more options for appearance elements. E.g., we hope to have a wider selection of hairstyles, such as long, short, unique styles, as well as options for overall customization. I love it. We know that players have a strong desire for customizations. Our internal data shows particularly high demand for appearance options like hairstyles, so we're dedicated to expanding in our art team's capacity to produce more of them. We'll also continue to review and steadily introduce a wider range of customization options. Yeah, so their answer is yes. Allow us to dye the default character's appearance. We've listened to your request, and with the start of Season 2, both Descendant and Ultimate Descendant's default appearance will be dyeable. Oh my God, this is such a big ask, and it's so cool. We apologize for the delay in implementing this highly requested feature. Additionally, as noted in previous update notes, dedicated spawns and back attachments will become shared items starting in Season 2. So, in other words, you'll be able to buy everything independently instead of having to buy these packages. That's really cool. I'm sure the price will go up. But the other thing that the big thing here is committing to being able to dye the default characters, which we haven't been able to do, and that is going to be awesome. More variety, the limited selection of skins makes it hard to customize as desired. Release more skins with both casual and unique themes. That's right, our data shows that the skins with a wide variety of themes are very popular. In response, we're expanding our team to create skins in more themes and in greater quantities. We would appreciate your patience as we work on this. So cool. They're going to give us more, and then you can go buy them with your hard-earned money, because that's what you're going to that's what you're going to have to pay. All right, UI again. Player suggestion 1. The customization system isn't very user-friendly, and the process for changing character appearance is complicated. We anticipate more usability improvement requests once the previously mentioned plans are implemented, and we'll continue to work on these improvements. Cool. Adjust the Twisted Worship outfit in the customization menu. They've already done that. They actually created a new skin for it, so I'm not going to touch on that anymore. Make character skins in the Battle Pass and skins from the Firearms that players frequently use more appealing. We've seen a lot of feedback about this Battle Pass during the preseason and Season 1, and Season 2 we plan to look into adding Descendant skins and popular Firearm skins. Cool. Well, they did do that in there, but I think they're asking for more. We just want to buy skins without bundle packages. It feels excessive. The prices for skins, enhancement materials, etc. are too high. We've listened to your feedback, and this is what I was talking about earlier, and the team and the business units have agreed to sell all cosmetics items, skins, spawns, back attachments, chest attachments, etc. separately. This policy will go into effect with the start of Season 2. We're also reviewing enhancement materials to make them more efficient when purchasing. More efficient when purchasing. So maybe they won't change the price, but they'll have them already ready to craft. That'd be the only way I can see that making any sense. But still, I'll farm them. Are there any plans to sell retired skins again, or are they truly off the market? Many players have requested the sale of retired skins. While we are carefully considering changes to the store display for regular sales, we decided in coordination with the dev team and our business team to change our policy for our upcoming skins to be available for regular sale, except for certain seasonal event skins. For former skins, we plan to add previously retired Ultimate Descendant skins as individual items. As for other skins, we are carefully reviewing our options. Well, I think the one that people are probably wanting to know about the most, if anyone from Nexon listens to this, is the bunny, tri-skin, the one that changes 3 times. I think that's probably one people watch go out of the store and wish they had bought and didn't. I know myself, that's the case. I kept talking myself out of it because the price was a little high, but something to keep in mind. Add the ability to use surplus materials to craft amorphous materials. We'll continue adding new systems to make use of supply materials, similar to how ETA 0 provides opportunity to exchange surplus blueprints for other items. Our plan is to support utilizing surplus materials, currency, and other resources in innovative ways. Add the ability to use surplus materials to craft amorphous. Okay, I get that one. Server optimization lag. We experience a lot of stuttering and lag, especially in co-op play. Early game maybe, but I haven't really gotten a lot of that. Have you gotten any rubber banding or anything, NJ? No.
Dapat nga GS.
Yeah, I think something they did in the latest patch has created some instability, but it's not this kind of instability. It's goodbye. You're no longer in the game stability. Stability. Let me move my character real quick. All right. Trading system. Players can't freely trade items with one another. To be honest, we're taking a conservative approach to the trading system, as our current policy is live service stability and improved content satisfaction. We don't think it's the right time to introduce this just yet, but we'll continue to evaluate its feasibility. Look, guys, I got to be honest with you. If you haven't played a lot of games in the past, or this type of game in the past, introducing a player trading system is very dangerous. All right, so they need to do it very carefully. It has ruined games in the past. So there are games that successfully deploy it, and they could look at those games to try and understand whether they can emulate that in some way. Warframe's a great example. But there are other games, maybe NJ can share his experience, but that have crashed the game. The game has just gone off the market as a result. Can you think of one off the top of your head? I know we've talked about this in the past. Player trading system. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's Star Wars Galaxy. Yeah. 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 No, it's got to be done in a very professional way. So I think it's a challenge. I think it's better to go slow, and with any luck, we'll get them to take a look at this long term. So keep looking at it. Add a system or a space to display own descendants like figurines. We think this is a great idea. A similar suggestion have come up internally, though we don't yet have a specific plan. However, it's under consideration as a medium to long-term project. I like this idea. I kind of like the idea of a good example game would be the Division 2, where you go downstairs and you see all your weapons on the wall, or you go next door and you see all the masks that you've gotten from killing all the hunters. This is a great system, but you'd have to have kind of some personal space somewhere in Albion or elsewhere. But this could be really fun to have, so I like that. Add a photo mode, screenshot only screen. We'd love to see this feature internally as well, but it's difficult to say when it might be feasible. We'll review it in future and make sure to keep you updated. You can take a screenshot on your keyboard or in your PlayStation, but I think maybe they're talking about being able to remove the UI. You can take the UI away, by the way, in your settings. So I think there's some ways to do that, but it's very cool. Anyway, basically they're saying we're interested to hear your thoughts about the dev team's responses. For any questions we couldn't answer today, we plan to open a Q&A channel on our official Discord next week. So you can log into their Discord if you haven't. Log into our Discord as well. We'd love to have you. And we support our fans as well. I was playing with one today, helping him get his character, his Freyna leveled up. Regardless, back to this. They're opening the Q&A in the Discord, and they'll start to respond directly to people within the Q&A channel. We'd appreciate it if you could join us there and share your questions and feedback in that forum. So that's pretty exciting. The team is currently hard at work in Season 2, scheduled to release on December 5th. Yo, so excited. Drawing from our experience in Season 1 update, we want to ensure that we gather ample player feedback to refine content ahead of the new update. As part of that plan, they'll be introducing a focus group test specifically for the Season 2 content. We'll be sharing details on the Discord, inviting players to review the Season 2 content and provide feedback. While some issues may not be resolved immediately, we're committed to gathering early feedback and incorporating as much as possible into the shape of the First Descendant into the game that truly reflects your ideas and your desires. We'll be back in November with more details about Season 2, and we'll keep you posted on our progress moving forward. As always, we'll continue to listen to our valuable feedback and do our best to improve your gaming experience. We look forward to your continued support and input. Thank you. So, look, I cannot, I mean, for me, this is the most professional approach from Nexon. Whoever wrote this on and really took the time to make sure they got the English right. I know there's been criticism about that in the past, but they really did a really good job of explaining themselves here. And quite honestly, I feel like the future of this game is strong. You know, like I said, I have more than 1,000 hours in the game. I don't see you know, many players with that kind of time in it. I think there's still a lot of content that people can work on. I still have Descendants with more than 1,400 hours. I have Descendants that I haven't you know, really built up yet, so I'd like to go and build those up. You know, it is a bit of a grind. I will give you that, but I think the grind has been made shorter. The 400% missions are incredible. Now with the changes into the you know, repeatable wave missions and Albion resource missions, things like that. You know, now you can level up a character in 2 runs. You can level up a gun in 1, I believe somebody was saying yesterday. I haven't tried that yet. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways now to move quicker in the game. So they've been listening to us. They continue to listen to us. I don't see this game going anywhere, fellas. I say fellas because I was just watching my metrics the other day, and I don't have a single metric showing any women in the game. There's got to be women playing. I watch women streamers and YouTubers, so I know that's happening, but they're not showing up in the metrics. But you know, regardless, we have the support of the developer, and I think this is an incredible game, and we're continuing to see incredible changes, and I look forward to their continued development of this content. Keep in mind, this is a brand new game, guys. It's a free-to-play game. They're telling you they're hiring more people. They're focusing on further development. All you can ask for the game that you didn't pay anything for. I realize we've all paid something in cosmetics, but that's just part of it, right? So that's all I have for this portion, and I'm going to cut it off here. But thank you for watching. If you've watched to the end, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you like the content, follow us in our other social media platforms as well to continue to see updates from us in the future. Thank you again. Bye-bye for now, LT.